wanted to take the opportunity to take a risk and do something very different.
This is one of those things where people knew this was going to be something special. People wanted to be part of it.
It was the sort of job where you'd be a fool not to give absolutely everything you have to it, because it's the sort of material that can take it.
Doing this live is going to change the way musical movies are made forevermore.
That's exciting. That's what you live for.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And it feels incredibly special to be a part of that.
There's an epic level to this. You just have to see this movie in the theatre.
It has that breadth of strength, of passion and characters in it.
It's a show about passion that has a really passionate fan base, but the people that are making the movie are equally passionate.
I can't wait for the audience to go on the journey of Les Miserables. It was the hardest movie to cast that I've ever done and will ever do, because you have to find that perfect storm of actors who can sing and act.
It's a real actor-singers show, that you don't have to be a great dancer. It's not about showbiz, it's about storytelling. It's amazing parts.
I wanted to find those actors who, when they sung, you felt in your heart it was their first choice method of communication.
The minute we decided we were going to do it, it was like a talent magnet. I mean, everybody wanted to be in it.
Every man and his dog went for this film. Everyone wanted. I've never heard my agent more excited about a film.
Every Hollywood actor at some point probably was in a musical of some description, so everyone sort of came out the closet with these singing voices.
There were probably two requirements for doing it. One was everyone signing up to the idea of singing live. The second was Hugh Jackman existing, because I think if Hugh Jackman didn't exist, I wouldn't have made this film.
Once I knew I had the part, I had created last year a one-man show for myself, so I decided to do a 3-month run on Broadway from October through to Christmas, because I figured 2.5 hours a night, 8 shows a week was going to be the kind of training I'd need to do this. It really has held me in good stead.
Through all the performances he's been doing on Broadway, the range of his voice has developed considerably.
Look down, don't look him in the eye.
I've never felt a role that will require or does require more of me in a concentrated period. All the things I've done leading up to this, whether it be the stage work or the film work, I feel are coming together for this role in this movie.
Retrieve the flag.
Hugh Jackman from early on said, when I'm a convict, I want to shave my head and I want to lose as much weight as I possibly can while keeping the strength that I would have if I was doing manual labour as a convict. And the regime he put himself under to get to this extraordinary place where he, you know, had no fat on him but was still strong. None of this I required him to do. He wanted to do it.
It was important to tell the story that he'd been a prisoner for 19 years, so, you know, there was no bread and butter pudding going around. There was very limited food. He was also known for his strength, so I was in the gym 3 hours a day. Then once that had finished, it was heaven. I got to eat.
That was 2 sets. Imagine 19 years of that.
Valjean is a fascinating character because he constantly is striving to be a better person, to live up to what he thinks God wants from him, what God deserves.
Who am I?
And constantly underneath it all feeling like he's falling short.
Who am I?
I'm Jean Valjean.
I think that's something that all of us can relate to.
That's unbelievable.
Hugh's spirit is so special that you understand the spirituality of Jean Valjean. I don't think if you didn't have it inside you, it could ever be convincingly acted.
Never liked you there.
He is just the most brilliant singer and leader, and he is amazing.
The minute he said yes to doing this, it's been a great ride because he just brings so much to everything.
Having Hugh lead has made everyone up their game.
He's been a rock for everybody around him, all the people that have come to the gig that have been nervous or whatever. And, you know, it wasn't exactly that he was hiding his nerves, but he has been very emotionally constant.
Can this be true? I don't believe what I see. A man your age, to be as strong as you are.
I couldn't believe my luck to discover that one of the biggest movie stars on the planet and one of the world's great actors was a passionate musical man with a background in it and a fantastic voice.
I had seen him just as he was starting his career doing musicals in Australia. I always did remember that his first love was musical theatre.
You make me think of a man from years ago, a man who broke his parole. He disappeared.
It just became one of those things where once it was on my radar scope, it was just something that I just really wanted to do, you know, and I wanted to spend that time with music in my life.
I really loved Getting Arrested by Russell Crowe. That was the first time I really saw his Javert, and it just chills everywhere. And I was like, okay, I know I'm supposed to be really upset right now, but God, he's good.
I have heard such protestations every day for 20 years. Let's have no more explanations. Save your breath, save your tears.
I've tried to make his confusion a little wider, a little deeper, and tried to make his conclusion come from a different place.
For Annie Hathaway, I mean, this is an extraordinary dream story. Her mother was the stand-in for Fontaine on the American tour.
Anne grew up on Les Miserables. Her mother was in the First National Company for me. She was brought up in the dressing room.
When I auditioned Annie in New York, I knew how much it meant to her, and of course I tried not to be swayed by it because it had to be about the performance.
We've got to pray away at the end of the day.
Luckily, the performance showed the years of yearning in a way.
Yes, it's true, there's a child, and the child is my daughter. And her father abandoned us, leaving us flat. Now she lives with an innkeeper man and his wife, and I pay for the child. What's the matter with that?
Fontaine, she really is the most miserable. And there's something about the depth of her suffering that gives life to the love that you experience in the rest of the film. She lives in a cruel world that breaks her down. And by the end, the only way that she can survive is, I'm sorry, it gets me emotional. The only way that she can survive is to turn her heart to stone, which is torture for her. And it's really unfair. She hasn't done anything to anyone. It's just the way it is.
What can I do? It pays a debt. 10 francs may save my poor corset.
She wanted to get her hair cut for real in the Lovely Lady scene, which again I was amazed at.
Well, it's never an option in the stage show. Anytime you are given something that allows you to go deeper inside of a character, get closer to them, mesh with them, it's a gift.
She had the idea that she wanted to lose weight for the death of Fontaine and make that much more real. I would never require an actor to lose weight, but she wanted to do it.
Over the course of 5 weeks, I lost 25 pounds. And I lost 15 of those pounds in the last 2 weeks. So it was very intense and very extreme. And to be honest, if I'd stopped and really thought about what I was doing, it probably would have felt too hard. Any kind of suffering that I was going through, I wouldn't feel it as suffering. I would have felt it as she would, which was instant transformation.
'Cause at its turn so cold. 'Cause at its past your bedtime.
Les Miserables is unusual in that halfway through the movie you double your cast size and you introduce these new heroes who you've never met before. That switch should feel exciting. The key was, I think, about casting. I searched long and wide for my Cosette, and Amanda, she has that amazing ability to command both disciplines, who can sing and act.
This change. Can people really fall in love so fast?
This is a musical that she grew up with, and she wanted this part more than anything, and it was incredibly emotional, you know.
In the novel of Les Mis, Cosette is always described as this lark, and that's what her voice is like. It's almost like a bird. It just sort of floats.
In my life, there are so many questions and answers that somehow seem wrong.
Cosette is the main source of light and hope and love, true love in this story. She's choosing between her father, the only man she's ever known, and this man who's completely taken her over, her heart over. It's absolutely true love, and she knows, with all her heart, this is who she's going to spend the rest of her life with.
Amanda is a really, really great actress and is going to surprise a lot of people in this depth that she brings to Cosette.
She was just like a ghost to me. 1 minute there, then she was gone.
Eddie was my dream casting, but I never would have necessarily assumed he could sing at this level, and he's turned out to be fantastic.
Had you been there today, you might also have known how the world may be changed in just one burst of light, and what was right seems wrong, and what was wrong seems right.
Getting the part was about proving to Claude Michel and Cameron that I had the potential vocally to be able to deliver what it needed. So the second you got the part, there was great excitement. And then there's the sort of sick punch in the stomach reality that you've actually got to play those parts or sing those songs.
His voice is so strong. He's got this like crazy falsetto that's so strong, which means he can sing so high, but yet so soft. Effortless.
I am lost. A hard
I think 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, it would have been very difficult to cast this film. And we just happened to hit a moment in time where there is a group of great actors and also of really, really good singers. And that's the cast we see before us today.
Every announcement they made, starting with Russell or Anne, Amanda, Eddie, every announcement that came, I was like, yes, yes. It was amazing to me.
We all are bringing something different to the table, and I do feel like it is kind of the perfect cast.
I was incredibly impressed at how much effort and care went into the preparation of these actors and how much they'd thought about how the medium should work and how they instinctively understood the intimacy of singing on film as opposed to singing on the stage and what that meant for their performances. The actors are kind of evangelical about this project in a way almost more than anything I can ever remember. I mean, it's very, very special.
There is wine here to revive you. There is bread to make you strong. There's a bed to rest till morning. Rest from pain and rest from wrong.
At the time we were casting the show back in 1984, there was a man who'd done very little acting and was an extraordinary presence. He was a session singer called Colin Wilkinson, who just was Jean Valjean. The moment he picked up the score and the voice came out, you felt the hand of God was on the piece of casting.
He is the original Valjean, beloved by millions of people the world over. And it was really important to us to bring the spirit of the show in any way we could to the film.
He created this role. He also created a way of singing that really tenors have been copying now ever since, for the last 25 years.
The first meeting between Hugh Jackman and Colin was something very emotional, because Hugh was facing the guy who was the first Jean Valjean. And as a matter of fact, I wrote Bringing Home for Colin Wilkinson.
One of the first scenes that we did was between Valjean and the bishop.
Please, sit.
There was an immediate connection. I think everybody felt really sort of moved by it.
Bless our dear sister and our honored guest. Please, eat.
The bishop to me is a huge sort of role in as much that he's the guy who redeems him, saves his soul for God, gives him the candlesticks and sets him on the right path.
Monsieur, release him. This man has spoken true.
It is the voice of God through this story which guides and changes the life of Jean Valjean.
You must use this precious silver to become an honest man.
One of the great things Colm said to me, he pulled me aside after the first day of work. He said, "Man, if there's anything you want to pick my brain about, ask me about." And I said, "There's a couple of bits." And he just stopped me. He goes, "Hugh, I did not do what was originally written. I made it my own, I had my reasons for doing it, and because that was the first, nobody knew. You have to make this your own. And I felt like, okay, well, that's officially the baton being carried over.
Everybody has a unique talent and everybody has a unique thing that they will bring to this role. Hugh will do it in his way. He'll sing it in his way. If you look at Hugh and his work ethic and the way he goes about what he does, he's so thorough and so intense. It'll be very emotional.
Sam Barks, who plays Eponine, she's a trained theatrical singer.
I first came across her when I was with Andrew Lloyd Webber, and we did this television series which ended up with 4 finalists, of which Sam was one of the top 4 finalists.
I then went on tour and played Sally Bowles in Cabaret and, then started working.
I wanted to try her out for the role of Eponine. I thought she'd be really a terrific Eponine for the stage show.
And it was the right time, I think, for me to audition for Eponine. And it was a character that I just felt that I had this, burning desire to play.
Tom came to see one of the O2 performances because we had started to talk about the film. And from the very outset, despite everyone else in Hollywood throwing their hat in the ring, she was always someone that we wanted very much to consider.
I then started playing Nancy in Oliver, which obviously is full circle where it all started, and working with Cameron again. And so I was taking my bow in Oliver, and he walks on stage.
I gave her the role of Eponine in London, and then, of course, at the O2 for that amazing concert for the 25th anniversary. And now our director, Tom Hooper, has chosen her for the movie.
Speechless. And sometimes I look back and I go, that was the moment, bang, right there, your moment, your life just changed forever.
It was a wonderful thing to walk down there and, hear the snivels of delight from the chorus and the company behind.
It was all his idea. He was like, I'm going to go up and surprise her, and it was so theatrical and amazing, and it's just such a fantastic moment, of my life.
It couldn't happen to a nicer or more talented girl.
I just feel so close to this character, so to have travelled so far with her now, she's a beautifully written character, and it's a joy to play her.
It's so interesting because she has come, having played this part, to great acclaim.
On my own, pretending he's beside me.
And yet again, having to completely reinterpret it.
To all of a sudden changing your performance from hitting the back of the stalls to singing right here, you just have to trust yourself.
She understands the difference between acting on a stage, singing on a stage, and singing for a movie.
I love him, but only on my own.
Playback.
We had so many gods and goddesses of the West End come in on this job.
I've been in the show once about 10 years ago, and I played the role of Eponine, and now 10 years later I'm playing the role of Fantine. I think Annie's doing a wonderful job of Fantine. She's getting so many beautiful nuances to the character. And she just said to me, it's nice to be part of the Fantine club, so we're both in the club together.
Come on, dearie, why are the fuss?
My name is Frances Raphael, and I'm Whore 1. I was the original Eponine in the London production and the Broadway production of Les Miserables.
She was very special, Frances. She did a great job as Eponine.
It's amazing to see it recreated like this. It's spectacular. It's a real joy to be here.
I might have known there is always some man. Lovely lady, come along and join us.
One of the things that's amazing about the experience of filming Les Mis is that you're working alongside people who have played major parts in West End productions. The film really is peppered with leading West End actors.
Balcony! Fire!
My first job out of college was playing Marius in the West End, and then a couple of years ago I did the 25th anniversary concert, which we did at the O2. Quite a few of us who were doing the West End production were asked in to come and audition. I suppose they wanted to find people who knew the show to a certain extent and also who were happy singing.
You at the barricades, listen to this. The people of Paris sleep in their beds. You have no chance at all. Why throw your lives away?
Seeing the guys absolutely just inhabit the parts and just inhabit this whole environment as well has been quite a thrill, really, and it's been such a thrill just being part of sort of seeing it realised.
The film absolutely rests on their ability to come in and be great. These Olivier-winning actors and actresses were coming in and just, doing a line here and a line there. I just always felt really humbled.
Les Miserables is famous for playing in a black box. So although there's wonderful sets that come in and out, you are in a black box environment. We don't need to be in a black box. We give you the world. We give you the mountains of France. We give you the docks where Valjean works. You see the battleships. You see the full scale of Paris in all its majesty. And you go on this physical journey with Valjean.
To start the film, the brief was, we want a biblical start to the film. It must feel immense, the sort of thing that you see in Spartacus. Today we are in 9 Dock in Portsmouth Naval Base. This is a used dock, but they've never had filming before, and today has been a logistical adventure. Huge amounts of equipment, cranes, water in the dock, water out the dock, lots and lots of permissions, lots of red tape. They're not used to having hundreds of people not wearing hard hats, working in this environment, or wading around in water, and certainly not singing.
Okay, thank you. Here we go, and playback!
I worked out a very simple rhythm, but to get 150 people to do that all together at the same time, and they had these huge wave machines and water cascading down, they were up to their chests in water, and they couldn't hear the music at all. So I'm on a god mic sort of screaming over the music to make sure that they could keep in rhythm.
And then I'm standing on a little stand with a microphone, singing the lyrics, basically, and waving my arms around like some demented windmill. But it was thrilling to see it. I mean, I had no idea how big it was going to be.
As the song went, I dreamed a dream, and I never think it would be this size. I mean, this is going to be an amazing opening to this film.
This afternoon I was just remembering the lyrics of What I Have Done, Sweet Jesus, What I Have Done.
My A camera operator, Zach, who's done many, many feature films, came out of the Portsmouth days saying that's the most epic scene I've ever shot in my life. And I was kind of, really excited to hear that.
Look down, you'll always be a slave.
I think the intimacy of certain patches of the musical become more poignant when set against the backdrop of a kind of epic France and an epic time in history. When Valjean's first release, we do actually go to France for a short period of time.
We are on location in this very picturesque town of Gourdon, which is at the foothills of the Alps, and it's doubling for the town of Digne. In the novel, Digne is described as a very sort of mountaintop village, and it is high on a mountain, sort of nearer to God. This clearly is a very accessible location. It's quite easy to get a crew in and out. But yesterday, in Tom's quest to get amazing vistas that will really establish and sell the epicness, we literally slogged up a mountain.
I'm just here, but we're driving in a 4x4 and we are right on the bloody edge of the mountain. I'm not exactly enjoying this, I have to say.
Everybody had to carry all their gear by hand up to the top of the mountain. Some people had a 45-minute walk up a very steep gradient, very rocky.
Top of a mountain, freezing cold, just at the very end of winter. I thought everybody was a real trooper, actually.
It really helped me to operate the first couple of days in France because I needed to work out how I wanted the camera to work musically. And I found myself on the first day, on the first shot, on the top of a mountain with Hugh Jackman, and the sun was setting. And, I hadn't necessarily decided in advance, but I found there was something about handheld that allowed me to move in a dance with the music in a subtle way and approach him using the waves of the music to guide me in, and also that created a very sort of visceral intimacy with him in that situation as he sung.
Freedom at last, how strange it is. Because you're in the real locations, because at the beginning of the movie I am standing on top of a mountain wearing pretty much no clothes and it's about -3 degrees and there is steam coming out of my mouth, it feels real. And for something like Les Miserables, it has to feel real.
We did feel like we were making a big French story, so it was just so sort of spiritually and practically helpful for everybody to start there and have that in the sort of DNA of the film.
Merci.
Greenwich, the Royal Naval College, is quite a well-known location in Britain for using for big-scale filming. And it hadn't occurred to us at the beginning because it's so famously British. But when we went down there and realised the classic architecture there gave us 4 sides, by some trickery later on there'll be some French roofs added, etc., we could really make it work.
Action, go!
Napoleon constantly built elephants to celebrate his wild achievements in his Egyptian campaigns. And so he'd built one in the Place de Bastille. But at the time of Victor Hugo, it's very described in the book as this giant elephant that was built out of plaster, but he never got the money together. So this giant edifice just slowly rotted and the plaster began to crumble, and the ragamuffin children then all moved in as it was the only place they got to sleep that was warm.
In the show, you only hear mentioned Lamarck's funeral. One of the things I personally found most satisfying about making the film is seeing scenes that did not exist in the musical brought to life in the film.
Do you hear the people sing the song of angry men?
It was challenging because we had horses and soldiers and weapons.
On a heavy extras day such as this one, we're talking about 420, 430 people a day. As you can see, the scale of things is immense.
It's massively satisfying that we were able to do something so vast, so sort of full of story and so cinematic.
Boughton House is being used as Marius's family house, so it's absolutely brilliant.
Every day we'll remember that night and the vow that we made.
It has a great facade with a French mansard roof on it. And then inside it, the man who built it, Ralph Montague, employed lots of French painters, furniture makers, gilders, glass makers, and so on.
Boughton is unique in the sense that between 1760 and 1900 the house was not used, so it fits beautifully in with the period in which they're filming. And this is the very first time we've ever had filming at Boughton House, so we thought we'd start small.
Today we're at Boughton House for the wedding feast. The staterooms we're mainly using for the wedding, but in addition to that, Boughton was able to give us some of our interior tenements and the interiors of the lodgings for Rue de l'Homme Armé. When you approach a house, we do an awful lot of clearing furniture that's very precious, build trackway in so that all our trucks won't sink into the ground, and we provide our own power. We are 200 crew and then extras. That's a lot of people in your house. So we're just incredibly careful. Coming to Boughton is a dream come true, and hopefully they've enjoyed the experience too. Each location has been pretty challenging, but we've been able to expand some of the story that Victor Hugo writes about that the musical on stage just physically wouldn't be able to do. We hope that it gives it, more depth, and hopefully, we do it all justice.
Well done, guys, much better.
Well, Eve Stewart's done an extraordinary and remarkable job on this, and to be able to unleash Eve on the largest sound stage in the UK, newly built, the Richard Attenborough stage, was great fun.
The design of T Stage was enormously good fun, and obviously we started that right at the beginning of the process. When we first approach it, you think, oh, it's easy, we just go to Paris and have a look round. Paris is completely different to what it was. This was partly because all the narrow streets prior to 1852 were incredibly brilliant for staging a revolution. They were all windy streets with tall buildings from which people could throw down furniture. So by 1852, they decided they'd absolutely had enough of this. They were going to broaden the streets, going to have big boulevards where the armies could get down quick and there's a sense of control. So we had to carefully research pre-1852 Paris, and we felt that the inspiration should also come from the book itself.
The book has been incredibly influential for us because there's beautiful, beautiful descriptions of the world, which a lot of it isn't actually seen on stage. So it's quite extraordinary how much there is. It's amazing.
The street, we built incredibly fast. We built it in under 10 weeks, and it took a team of about 100 carpenters, plasterers, sculptors and painters. One of the biggest challenges, really interestingly, was trying to get amazing carpenters that have worked here for years on thousands of big films not to build things with straight lines. That's been my hardest challenge.
The attention to detail is something that we really, really love doing. Even if he just wants to do a little cutaway of somebody sitting in a shop, it's so lovely to be able to give Tom the chance that he could.
The cafe, partly inspired by the Flatiron building in New York, and an early photograph of old Paris before it was knocked down, where there was a sort of miniature version of this. This is a building that, as you can see, is about to fall down on the right-hand side and has a kind of insubstantiality to it.
Students, workers, everyone, there's a river on the run, like the flowing of the tide, Paris coming to our side.
This is where the students plan their revolution, and I like the idea of their home creating a symbol of the fragility of their project, the fragility of their revolutionary idea.
Red, a world about to dawn, black, the night that ends at last.
Well, this is our first day of filming on this set, so it's quite exciting to be here and see the amazing work that's been done. Just the detail is unbelievable. You just can walk around and you see every little thing is just perfect.
See camera mark. Background and action!
For a British actor, working in Pinewood is always part of the dream, because that's that thing that's lodged in you since you're a kid, that this is a great part of our film industry and our establishment. But to work on a set of that scale, is absolutely beautiful.
It is quite a funny sensation to be on that stage. You feel for a moment, where am I? It is so credible that you are in 19th century Paris Street.
I believe the energy, I believe that people walk these streets every single day. Eve outdid herself with the sets.
Eve Stewart, our production designer, found this fantastic old photograph of one of the barricades being sort of constructed, and in it you could see people actually throwing furniture out the windows.
People would literally run down the streets of Paris and make barricades in 15 minutes flat, and that's the kind of energy and revolutionary spirit we were trying to capture.
Action!
On the day of filming, in a kind of moment of wild abandon, we just let the cameras run.
And he said, build a barricade, action.
And the students and citizens basically ripped every bit of furniture, every door, every shop front they could, and built the barricade in real time.
This looks like chaos, but of course it's not, and we're all at the moment being delegated into different aspects of the same scene.
Some of us are chucking stuff out of windows, some of us are sort of digging up stones. It should be kind of crazy, it should be fun.
And it was literally like 10 minutes of complete carnage of, you know, you're throwing this furniture, pianos.
We're about to push this piano out of this window and let it crash to the ground.
We had a piano that we had in the inn. That come out the second floor window, but you only get one take of a piano, that's it, you know.
Come on.
And I'm still feeling slightly the pain as we watched our marvellous piece of furniture being thrown from windows.
One of the great things about the way that Tom Hooper works is that he makes it as real as possible. We literally shot the scene from start to finish, and so we literally do 10, 15-minute takes with cameramen dressed up as students and as peasants, which for me is unheard of. I've never done anything like it, and it feels like complete chaos.
The energy on that set on Friday evening was quite extraordinary.
3, 4 minutes. We just build a barricade.
The plan was that we'd build a little bit of barricade, and then over the weekend Eve Stewart would come in and conjure up this existing barricade that she had all prepared on a neighbouring stage.
But actually the structure that they came forward with, considering they're all singers and usually eyes and teeth, was amazing.
They'd just taken our barricade and pinned it together, and so the barricade itself, as would have been the case, remained like an extraordinary booby trap.
Today, the barricade is actually going to be attacked. So basically, these are my lads, and we're spending most of the day taking pot shots at the students. I think the fighting gets a little bit more serious as we go along.
I think it's very interesting to let action sequences run, and even on the barricade, we were running the barricade battle as a live event for 10 minutes without cutting. And the entire battle played out for real with various cameras following the action. I think you just get a different level of reality if you do that.
Press your advantage. Fire at them on their retreat. Get up there. Get up there. Cannons ready! And fire! Balcony! Take aim! And...
I'm always trying to find ways to capture the immediacy of moments.
As you get to here, the cart's going to go.
So Killian, you're going to come here and that's going to explode in your face, and that's going to go there and that's going to explode in your face, and then you come here and that explodes in your face. You just nod. You just nod.
One of the interesting things about the battle scene is to realise that once you've fired your gun, it's 45 seconds to reload. So for 45 seconds after firing a gun, you're completely vulnerable. And working out how that affects the shape of fighting and makes it unique for this period was kind of interesting. And it created a kind of elation amongst the students, or an adrenaline. I mean, the adrenaline that you see on screen with those students is kind of real because we were running those things at such a length.
The fear is there, the adrenaline's there, you're firing these muskets, you're loading them yourselves, there's no acting required, you know. That passage of the film, the adrenaline was pretty intense.
Thank you so much, everybody, for an excellent week. Well done.
Ready, camera?
And action!
It's very rare in such a mature business as film to feel like you're doing anything genuinely groundbreaking. Quite often, what's maybe held me back enjoying some musicals is however good the synchronisation is of actors singing to playback, you can tell in your bones there's something false or unreal.
At my first meeting with Tom, one of the things that he said to me that I went, I really think this person really has a chance of making something special out of Les Miserables, was that he felt that the film needed to be recorded live and that you couldn't do what was traditionally done with musical films.
We're aware of a song here and a song there, but we can't find any examples of a whole movie being done like this.
Normally, if you were making an old school movie musical, as a group of actors, we'd go into a studio, we'd record an album, and then 2 months later, we'd arrive on set and they would play the playback of our album and we would mime alongside it. The problem with that is that you have to make all your acting choices 3 months before you've even met the actor you're working with. By recording it live, Tom is allowing us the spontaneity of normal film acting.
When you're singing live, you've got all the freedom to create the illusion that the character is acting in the moment that is so important to powerful acting. And it has such a profound effect on the power and the realism of this story.
This is an epic tale, but it's very human. We want the audience to laugh. We want the audience to cry. We want them to feel for every character. Therefore, they must believe. They must believe what everyone's saying.
The actors were all incredibly excited about it. They all lit up in our first meetings when I mentioned that was the process I was going to do it.
It was one of those moments where we all very bravely said yes and then looked at each other and went, what? How are you doing it?
It seemed insane, but it only makes sense. The only way to do it, to capture that reality.
What we've been allowed to do by singing everything live is explore. And, that has led to some, rather interesting and fascinating discoveries.
When I first met Tom Hooper, he was quite clear. He wanted the actors to be able to arrive on set and work out how they wanted to act a scene and not be locked to any specific tempo. And so effectively what we're doing on Les Mis is the actors have hidden earpieces.
See camera.
And we have an incredibly talented music department.
Action!
Which includes a pianist who knows the musical inside out. That pianist is basically playing live into the actors' earpieces.
Everybody raise a glass!
Everybody raise a glass to the master of the house!
By doing it this way, it means that the songs and indeed the scenes, the very emotional, very dramatic scenes, are able to remain flexible right up until the last minute, and as a result, they can develop as the day progresses, as the shoot progresses, dramatically and emotionally.
A lot of Les Mis is what they call recitative. Okay, so the material is really suitable for this kind of freedom. I do the soliloquy and it starts with, "What have I done, sweet Jesus, what have I done? Become a thief in the night, become a dog on the run. Have I fallen so far and is the hour so late that nothing remains but the cry of my hate?" Okay, so that's, if you were singing it literally, it'd be like that. I can go out there and some takes I'd be like, "What have I done? Sweet Jesus, what have I done? Become a thief in the night.
Become a dog on the run. Have I fallen so far and is the hour so late that nothing remains but the cry of my hate?"
I can speed it up, I can slow it down. I start to cry, and if I want to pause something, I can.
One word from him and I'd be back beneath the lash upon the rack.
So there's a dance where if they need a millisecond more to form a thought before they express it, they can take that time.
I feel my shame inside me.
The actors are leading that piano. That is a huge relationship between the actors and the pianist.
We're seeing video feeds of what all the film cameras are seeing. We have an audio mix of everything that's being recorded on the set, so we're in direct contact with the actor and their performance.
Is there another way to go?
If you're sensitive enough to an actor's performance and what they want to achieve,
Reaching, but I fall.
you will sense that they want to slow down.
And the night is closing in.
And I either conducted a bit faster or slower, and we sort of did it together, and it's worked. I think it's really worked.
Oh, my sin. I'll escape now from that world. From the world of Sean Valjean. Sean Valjean is nothing now. Another story must begin. Cut!
Got it there.
Thank you.
Well done.
We're on camera.
Well done, everybody. Well done.
Well, my God.
The quality of recording now that you can do while you're walking around is unbelievably better. This 5 years ago would not have been possible.
There's been some huge technological advances with radio mics, and basically what we're doing is we're radio micing every actor. We've gone for something which gives us as close to a studio sound as possible.
We've got two booms on him, a tight and a mid, and two radios on him, so somewhere within there you've got a lovely piece to work with.
Now, each radio mic is on a separate track. Sometimes on Les Mis we're running up to 26 tracks of radio mics.
Please, monsieur, come this way.
Here's a child that ain't eaten today.
The challenge of trying to make sure that all of those microphones are sounding their best at all times is a huge one.
It's almost like he's playing a keyboard himself. He has this big mixer with 10, 20, 30 channels, and he's literally having to mix this thing live.
You know me, I know you.
And you pay what we would do.
And you better dig deep.
Because it doesn't come cheap.
Because it's
the police disappear, I'm worried. It's Shabba.
The piano, of course, isn't in the background of the microphones.
We can hear piano, but nobody else standing around knows what we're doing. We just sing at each other on an otherwise deathly silent set.
Thank you, Inspector. But what you can hear is the pianist really going at it on the keyboard. You can hear the noise just of the fingers hitting the keys. Which is why we've put the pianist in this box with double plexiglass so that the microphones capturing the voices of the actors would not capture the sound of the pianist's fingers hitting the keys.
Movie sets are very, very noisy places.
That kind of thing with that banging will kill me.
We've come into this with an ethos of this set will be quiet.
Camera, and the camera's over here shooting a close-up. Please don't be here sort of shifting around on that.
There was lots of issues. The sets have to be specially deadened down. He's always bringing carpet in.
Whenever you can't see the actors' feet, we're carpeted. Even if they're on the barricades, they're carpeted, you know.
Yeah, I'd like to do something to try and deaden that.
Every day is a new set of challenges to try and get the cleanest vocal recordings that we can.
Thank you. Rain up.
Sam is a classic case, doing On My Own as Eponine. All we heard was the rain dropping onto microphones and onto the set, so all you heard was blip, blop, 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 and so all of that's all over it.
The ultimate folly, of course, would be trying to record a musical live and ending up having to redo the sound afterwards.
Water hitting our waterproofs was a little bit noisy, so we've put on the cloths.
And the rain machine was changed so it's sort of a little finer rain or fine mist.
We've been able to reduce the sound of the rain on the set without reducing its visual impact.
There were always potential sort of technical issues, but with Simon Hayes, who's a brilliant sound recordist, and Gerard McCann, who's a fantastic editor, we've done it.
And I know it's only in my mind.
When I did On My Own, my solo, I sang that song from start to finish, take after take after take, I don't know, 15 times.
I love him, but every day I'm learning.
The way we've shot it, you start the song and you sing the whole damn song. You know?
Who's this man? What sort of devil is he to have me caught in a trap and choose to let me go free?
How many times does a bloke have to die in a given day? I mean, for God's sake, right? I've been dying all morning.
I mean, some of the songs are so vocally challenging. You just don't know how many takes you can actually get at it.
It's a different kind of discipline. You've really got to kind of stamina-wise look after yourself, and everyone's in the same boat. So yeah, everyone's a nervous wreck.
Easy. It is so exhilarating when you're singing. The rest of the time, there's no coffee, there's no dairy, there's 8 hours of sleep. I drink hot water with lemon all day long. I'd go on vocal rest some days where I don't speak at all. I mean, honestly, I think my family cannot wait till I finish this job because they're like, who is this monk living with us? Who's going through some kind of weird vow of silence?
She was first like the music of angels, the light.
I have on my iPhone a sort of vocal warm-up, which involves things like all that sort of stuff, and weird things with your tongue.
You walk down the corridor, and from all the different dressing rooms, you just hear the oddest warm-ups. Mine, I do this thing where I go meow, 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 which is odd, but it works. Zing, 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 zing. But it started spreading, and people going, box is on her way, meow, meow.
Sometimes we wait an hour or 2 hours between takes. So it's just exploring their range, making sure it's still there.
The idea is to go from a high note to a low note. Whoa.
Opening my voice up and finding all of this stuff in there, you know, it's just been massively enjoyable. And I only really enjoy things when they're so damn scary.
We're all aware that we're on a knife edge, you know, like...
Cosette, Cosette, waiting and I knew, waiting for you.
But because it's been a new process and everyone's been on it together and we've all been learning together, it feels unique. When I saw Anne singing I Dreamed a Dream with this extraordinary fragility, that song, which I thought I knew pretty well, I listened to the lyrics for the first time afresh.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
The first thing that I did was just learn how to sing the songs properly, you know, where my technique was in the proper place and I knew the song backwards and forwards. And then you start to apply the reality of the scene. And it started to affect my voice. And I started to think, I can't sing this, for lack of a better word, I can't sing this pretty, because it'll take you out of it. And I'm asking the audience to believe a lot of things right now.
No song unsung, no wine untasted.
So I just decided to apply the truth to the melody and see what would happen.
But the tigers come at night.
It was scary, but I had the support of Tom and the support of Cameron and the support of Claude Michel and Elam. And so we just sort of all went for it and just said, okay, so this is just now the film version and now it exists and that's that.
As they turn your dream to shame. Slept a summer by my side. He filled my days with endless wonder. He took my childhood in his stride, but he was gone when autumn came.
And it's thrilling to be at the orchestration stage. You can imagine that having worked throughout the shoot with a solo piano representing what the orchestra is doing, it's like meeting the missing central character from the film, which is the orchestra.
There are dreams that cannot...
I Dreamed a Dream. It's a very famous melody, and hearing her, I think, brilliant rendition was the classic example of where the orchestration that we know can be adapted.
A dream my life would be.
When Annie's singing I Dreamed a Dream, I've never heard anybody do the song in quite the heartbreaking way that she does it. So the orchestration has to reflect that particular emotional journey that she takes.
And I think to be brave enough, as Claude Michel has been as a composer, not to protect his music. He was very open to change.
What I enjoy is to see something coming alive, and the performance, the orchestra, the musicians, the creation of something.
We had an amazing group of musicians who are real artists. We wanted people who weren't afraid of going that one step further when you said it doesn't matter if it's just a little more edgy, a little more raw.
Well, what I was doing was... You see, very, very understated.
Yes. Most of them are the people who are doing the concert, the Les Miserables concert at the O2 for the 25th anniversary. So they are certainly the people at the top of their game.
Stephen Brooker is a brilliant conductor and has been my head of music for many, many years.
I mean, he has Les Miserables in his blood.
Yet why did I allow this man to touch my soul and teach me love?
When something is rubato, which is, it changes time, the orchestra have actually got to sort of more or less know where that goes. the click track gives us the pulse, where the piece is flowing.
Which is basically a sound that the orchestra hear in their ears.
And then I have the other sort of security of the streamers, of these lines that go across the screen in the beating pattern.
Valjean, at last, we see each other plain. Monsieur le Maire, you wear a different chain.
Normally, when you're composing film music, you keep the click either completely regular or with very few changes, so that the orchestra can use it as a simple thing to follow. In this film, because the actors are made lots of choices about tempo, the conductor has to memorize these flows in tempo, and then the orchestra have to learn it.
It goes slightly faster on the downbeat of 66, then beats 3 and 4 is slightly slower.
Not to say it's the wrong way round, but it is.
You know nothing of Javert.
And we all learned how to do it, how to manipulate, to push, to drive, to breathe with the actors.
On the gutter too.
One piece I absolutely loved was Eddie doing Empty Chairs. His performance enabled the orchestrators and the composer to have no orchestra in the first few lines.
There's a grief that can't be spoken.
There's no introduction, as there is in the show, and you suddenly realise how emotional that can be.
Now my friends are dead and gone. Here they talked of revolution. Here it was, they lit the flame.
The thing that's taken me years to learn about orchestras is that you can direct them like you direct an actor. Careful of being too romantic. I mean, like, it's written very romantically, but what he's singing about is the loss of absolutely all his friends in the battle. It's just, you can talk about the emotion of a scene, and they can make the choice about how to convert that technically so that emotion comes through.
Oh, my friends, don't ask me.
Tom is a very bright guy. He understands our purpose, and he catch everything very, very fast. It's working very well.
Join our crusade, we will be strong and stand with me. Beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see?
At the end of a long day, this was the end of our third session we got, so that's sort of 7 hours later of playing. We get to the People's Song. We played it sort of quite well. But we just didn't get into the moment, into the spirit of it, because we were a bit tired.
Just give him a breather, just give him a little. Yeah.
I need 2 minutes.
Yes, I know.
I can't go straight on that.
Do you need something? Do you want a drink? Do you want a cocktail?
Just give me 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. Take the pressure off a second. It's a lot.
That in the show, there's a spontaneity that happens, and I just feel it's regimented. I don't feel I am part of a revolution in the audience.
The extraordinary thing about Cameron is the stamina and tenacity of his passion for Les Miserables.
It's really solid. It's all there. It's very well played, but it doesn't combust to make me feel this is unstoppable. It's within our DNA. We know how an audience needs to respond to bits of the material.
He, on a daily basis, manages to reconnect with the vital truths and emotions in it that make it vivid. And in understanding the man, I've understood much more about why this has been such a persistent global success.
Shorter notes? Shorter notes?
No, long. I think
Longer
this needs to be more of a
It's got that sort of joyful swing to it. It's not too sort of precise. A little bit more legato and a bit more free spirit.
Let's just play. Yeah. What to do?
Come on then, one more, folks, with feeling.
We just had to find a little bit more energy and a bit more bit more gusto in the music to get from there to there. After, nearly 10 hours playing, they found their reserves. And we got it. The thing about Les Mis, I think, is Cameron is passionate about it, as is Claude Michel and Alain and now Tom. The film would have been totally impossible without those key characters driving the material, driving the heartbeat of the music, driving the heartbeat of the story. It's great to be inspired by what Tom has done and the artistry of everyone involved with this film that has made us want to try and find a different way of getting the same thing.
It's like gastronomy. The best chefs in the world would tell you that all the new cuisine and all the best new recipes come from the best product.
There is a famous saying that the important is not to look at each other, it's to look in the same direction.
We're taking our own original, organically grown product, if I may say, and we are just turning it into something completely different with the technology of the times.
So we're totally committed with our work, and it's at the very moment, it's the most important thing in life that can happen to us. It's true for a stage show, and for a movie, it's even more important.
I'm a reasonably dab hand at putting on musicals on stage, but I have to say the organisation for getting these hundreds and hundreds of people and even more backstage to put in the Great Barricade and stage Les Miserables as a film is quite extraordinary.
Background action and playback.
We will walk behind the plowshare, we will put away the sword. The chain will be broken and all men will have their reward.
It's probably been the most fun I've had for quite some time. You just can't let it go. You can't step away from it.
It's like I've never done a movie where I actually feel like this is going to be amazing before I'm even finished. It was made with tremendous care and heaps of love. And I think that's going to come through.
I hope that people who come and see Les Mis understand that the place where, certainly from all the actors' point of view, it comes from an equal place of passion.
We have all loved working on the film of Les Miserables. We have loved seeing something so wonderful to us on stage and so wonderful for the audiences be reinvented under Tom's guidance and inspiration into something which is totally cinematic.
In some ways, I owe being a filmmaker to the musical. My life's come full circle. I'm right back to being a 10-year-old kid belting out Beggar's Opera from the stage at my school.
At the end of the day, the spirit of the story, the camaraderie of the cast and crew got us through. It's an honour to be part of it.